Hi, this is Beezy, and it's March 15th, 2022. And so I wanted to just touch base since I was asked and agreed to record this journey, perhaps even just for me. Um, but so it's been a full 24 hours or more since it's the evening. It's been pouring rain here. I think we've had 1.9 inches of rain in the last 24 hours, so it's a wee bit moist. um, Very good fun day today. Just getting some, I had half of the day off, so getting some personal stuff done, starting to clean up, starting to think about it. And I was curious if my linear mind, my ego mind would show up and go, oh, you stepped in it now, and all these things to worry about. And not really, there was maybe one moment here, one moment there where my brain wanted to spin a little on work stuff and stuff that had gone on at work, over the course of me actually being fully working there instead of having resigned. And I thought, it was what it was, it's happened, and I'm not going to take any energy in that. So that was just a slight correction, slight little dip and noticing, and I didn't play with it at all. I lots of people all around where I work talking about me because they all got, at least the voice memo that I'll be leaving. And I went into one of the workshops where they were working, and I was going to ask one of the guys there who's a good friend, and they was like, "Oh, hi! So we hear you're leaving." And one person said, "Well, did you get a new job?" I said, "No." And someone else was asking something. I said, "Well, I said, I know the day I'll be leaving and the gate I'll go out, and other than that, I don't know much yet. But I'm sure inspiration will come, and all sorts of opportunities will flow." So it was interesting more to have no full feeling of neutrality in me there and watch very nice people, different ages, probably anywhere between 30 30s and 65. And their reaction had more to do with how they perceive things and the possibility of that, and thinking, well, here's a dare I say it, an older woman, or at least upper middle-aged woman, and two dogs and a cat, and she doesn't know where she's going. So it's interesting to see how I think the mind plays these tricks. And so I said, no, I think it'll be great. And I'm excited to discover what it is that's in store for me, that's calling me next. So that was an interesting thing to see, kind of the interplay with that, and not so much how they reacted, but just was it calling up any lack of confidence or anything with me. And I think the thing that is most helpful for me, for myself to give voice to, hear it again and to share, is I did have one moment I thought, well, okay, so do you have a plan on Virgo here? So I guess you're supposed to be planners and list builders and all that kind of stuff. But do I have a plan of, the clock is ticking, and, freedom, this is the way I look at it, this is what it feels right now. Freedom is, clicking closer and closer and closer. And do I have a plan of, how I'll spend that time, and how much I will want to kind of, I don't know, try to get a handle on something. And for today, anyways, not really. And I've been feeling into thinking, just one of the things I did notice is that if I was thinking about in my answer, would I do these? Would I put all these out? And I said, sure. And then I just was thinking of, YouTube and the whole thing that they, shut different stuff down, and they're going to shut more stuff down. And, what about that? And I heard very clearly, no, put them on the Rumble site. I thought, oh, okay, good. And, so there have been things like that where I've been not really in a contemplative state, definitely in a neutral state, and definitely in a, grounded in Gaia through my heart and all that kind of thing. But not, I guess the easiest way to say is not in a contemplative, it's just kind of thinking, well, here's like a task. I said yes and do it. And so there seem to be things like that are coming up where I'm just looking at something and like deciding what am I going to put the videos, and thoughts will flow in of how to do it. So for me, I wanted to make sure to mark that and also point that out, that when you are doing things like this, when you're figuring out, asking for guidance, and you're not just in a contemplative state, that's excellent. That's perhaps more focus on it. But in going through, whatever your day-to-day is right this moment, that they're still your guidance. They're still, this was actually from my my MGs who were coming through with that, but it's going to be woven through in the moment by moment, that, the real time as you're moving through something with what you want to do. Now, for me, I think maybe a lot of people do this, but for me, since I've never done it quite this way before in this biggest scale, and I mean, why be small? And so everything ticking all the box of, where I live and what I'm doing and how I'm going, and that I'm don't really have an intention to go to a specific place right this moment, especially since I'm not certain of the full complement of my modus, of moving around. But what I do have is I have a container of transformational time. I'm looking at it as a transition and a combination of a transition and a transformational time. And there seems to be, I haven't quite decoded it all yet, but there seems to be something quite wonderful about that and quite magical about that. The energies and all the moving and shifting and changing is happening really fast. So we're already going, lightning fast. But having this container of time, in which to maneuver. And one of the things that really came to me today, in just a whole body, feeling about it, shiver, and a big smile, and actually a real laugh for me, which I don't think I've heard myself do in a long time, but was to make this, kind of a joyful boot camp of to really hone my own skills, my mastery, to really hone intentionally and fully being in the now moment all the time, and going with that flow and envisioning things. So one of those moments, my ego mind said, okay, so hang on. If you're in the now moment all the time, which is right here, and how do you flow with or play with or think about something that's makes you happy and moving forward, and that's not in this now moment, if I'm putting it on a spot on the map. So I thought that was interesting, because I played with that in a different way than I have ever before. And if the now moment I'm playing with, again, something that I'm looking at, something that's right in front of me, and do I want to bring that into my new life? And so that makes me think of the new life. That makes me think about, is it a particular piece of equipment I want to use or whatever it is. So technically, I'm thinking of something that's a bit future forward, but in the now moment, not worrying about something that has yet to come. And the reason I describe it as really a lovely and, I don't know, it's like was the supercharged, shifting wormhole or expansion spike or something. And I don't have the languaging quite right yet. But for me, it was because I had gone beyond, knowing that the now moment, there's only the now moment, and there is no past, present, and future. And, so then people think, well, be in the now moment, so don't worry about or think about the future or dwell on the past or, kind of loop on the past. And I played with it today when I was playing with it, is that you move out of, in practical playing with it, moved completely out of the past, present, and future, and having to stay out of, some and only in the now. And that because it's not an intellectual exercise that there is no time. It's not an intellectual exercise that there is no past, present, and future, because it's all a moment happening now. And it happens now from my future self now, and other timelines, which would be, could be looked at as a past self in the now. So I'm in the now, on the various vibrational frequency realms that this unique signature is, and I'm in the now being, my quote unquote future self is just linear labeling, right? I'm in the now and those kinds of things. So I think I had that feeling of that jump because I was jumping in, or all of me, past, present, future, all of that kind of thing, the different realms, the different consciousness levels and different vibration levels were jumping into me here. And so when I was playing with, something on what to take, or something on, how much, planning is good to do, or that's interesting about, putting up these videos and where to put them. I'm coalescing and coming into to coherence all of my, in the now moment, in whatever, it could be future, past, or whatever, in this moment. So I'm seeing through my own eyes whatever that consciousness and vibrational, I guess, standpoint, you could say, not really an appropriate, but it's close enough placeholder right now in this moment. So it felt powerful because it was taking away the linear construct of holding these, the now moment, you got to stay here, don't think there or there, or, be in the present. So it took away the don'ts, it took away the labeling, it took away the segmentation, and it put me squarely in the now-ness of all of me on every vibrational level, every consciousness level, every realm level, and it put me all right here in the heart. So it's changing a bit how I would language it, because now I have a direct experience of knowing this in a different way. So that was actually very interesting, and I think will be helpful for me as I move forward, because and helping working with other people, and things and products I may create or services or anything like that, because I can now explain from my perceiving of it how that lines up and how that how that becomes a powerful inside job propulsion system, knowing system, clarity on your sensory array to then make choices, make decisions, play with possibilities. So I think my overall summation of how did the first 30 some odd hours go? Great. I'm much happier now than I was Sunday. And I'm beautifully surprised. Maybe not as much as I would have thought I would have been, that I don't have any major dips in vibration or major spikes or any spikes really of worry or not knowing or something. So somewhere along the line, I've made some graduation things because of, and my linear mind is wanting to say, well, because of the scope of this, and it doesn't really have any, you can create a thimble, right, or universes. It's all the same process. And one of the other big things is, I wonder why I didn't do this sooner. Maybe it wasn't meant to be, whatever it is, but it's certainly a very powerful, direct experience of knowing, especially if someone else was looking at it from the scope of what it is and the time container I've put around it for that transition and transformation. That there is no need to wait. There's no cause for waiting. And the waiting is just more of the playing small and more of buying into the illusion and more of not trusting and coming into all of me. So that's cool for me personally, and it's cool for my work and how I can be of service to others to help come up with different ways to illustrate that and let them play with that for themselves in whatever things they're doing they want to create, or dreams, or big stuff, or little stuff, whatever it is. So been cool. It's been a very, very fun day, and I have the sense I've moved quite a ways down the transition, mostly the transformational track. And even though I haven't, done any specific things, except smile a lot. So anyways, that's my few minutes. I love you. And whatever you've got in your heart, wanting to play with, wanting to bring forward, wanting to leap into, go for it, because there's no time at all. And this is the time to do it, because we're so supported right now, so supported by every being, every level and layer of consciousness and vibration, and the energies here. And it's spectacular. See you tomorrow.